guys, you are watching the In Third Person comic book show. I'm Jet from inthirdperson.com, a website about video games, board games, comic books, and more. And today on the show, we are talking about a series that I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time, and for one reason or another, timing just didn't work out. But today we're going to talk about it, finally. Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. And I'm going to say it, and if someone were to ask me, and this has happened a few times, if I were to recommend one comic book series, just one, that's out right now that you should start with, you should read, this is the one. And it's not that hard to catch up on. There's only 3 books, and then a couple of loose issues. Volume 1, Volume 2, this is Volume 3. And so it's not that hard to catch up on, and it's amazing. So to give you a quick rundown, the 2 main characters of this book are Marco and Alana. They look like humans, they're not quite, they're 2 different species, so he's the species with the people with the horns, she's the species with the people with the wings. And they are these 2 particular groups of people, like aliens or beings. They've been at war with each other for quite some time. They hate each other's guts. These 2 were actually soldiers in rival armies, and Marco was captured. They fell in love, and they had a baby. Had a baby named Hazel. And this does not sit well with the people in either army, because they have a vested interest in keeping this fight going. And so people are sent out to go and kill them. And they are on the run from all of these people. And the people that are out to kill them, they have their own motivations as well, such as the Will and Lion Cat and Prince Robot. It is, just to sum it up in short, it's basically Romeo and Juliet meets Star Wars. You don't need to... when I started with comics, I thought it was all superhero stuff. This really isn't. This is, like I said, Romeo and Juliet meets Star Wars. It's there is fantastical elements to it, some sci-fi, but definitely a lot of romance, and there's some sex in there. So kids don't. If you are of age, then cool. If not, go somewhere else. And it's just a really great story, classic type of story where it's just like 2 people in love trying to overcome all obstacles. It's a very universal theme, and one of the things I love is that it's very science fiction in nature. So there's different characters of different species and aliens, and there's some combat, but it still feels like such a human, real story, and you can relate with these people, and I love the characterizations of Marco and Alana and all of the other players involved. One of the art by Fiona Staples is fantastic and really brings this story to life. And when I'm reading it, I just feel like I'm there, and it really pulls the heartstrings in one way or another, whether I'm happy, angry, sad, whatever, what have you. It is a phenomenal piece of work. Like I said, right now it's on issue 20, in the 20s right now. I guess the one that I have here, issue 22, I lent out a couple of them to, I think Steph's sister has them, because I was reading these, and then I kept telling Steph, you've got to read this series. I'm telling you. And she was like, I don't know. And then she borrows the book and was like, oh my god, this is amazing, and then powered through the rest of it. And she says to her sister, oh, this is a series you have to read. And her sister's like, oh, I don't know. And then she ends up plowing through them. And most recently, I lent these to a coworker of mine who also fell in love with the series as well. It's really great universal appeal, and you don't need to be into the superheroes and whatnot. It's just a very universal story of love and overcoming obstacles. And if you haven't read, I don't want to go into that. We'll talk up to these. So these 3 books kind of encapsulate in themselves a particular moment in time for Marco and Alana. And once you get to whatever volume 4 is, or if you're reading these comics, they break into a new arc where more stuff goes down. It's an interesting turn, and it's definitely tugging at the heartstrings in a way that um, doesn't sit so well with me. But that's not because I don't like the story. It's or the way it's written. It's just where things are going. I'm not gonna say any more than that. So this is Saga. It is fantastic. You can find this series pretty much anywhere, anywhere that sells books. If you have a graphic novel section, Saga will for sure be there. And because they're Image comic books, they are fairly cheap, so it's not going to cost you all that much to get into this. Like I said, if you're going to read one comic book series right now, this is the one because it is awesome. So that is it for the In Third Person comic book show. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys track down Saga, because it is probably my favorite series going right now. Brian K. Vaughan, a fantastic writer. He's done some of my other favorite things as well. Wolverine Logan. Let me pull up that book. I always mess this up. Always having to come to the shelf to grab some other things. So if you like Brian K. Vaughan, a couple of things that I have of his that I also really like. Wolverine Logan. This is only 3 issues long. You can probably I know on Kindle you can find this really cheap. The books you should be able to find really cheap as well. One of my favorite Wolverine stories. Other works he's done. Why the Last Man? This one is a story about the entire population of men, except for one, dying off, and where do things go from there when there's only one dude on Earth. We will talk about this on another show. I'm only 2 books deep, and this is fantastic. And there's one other one that Steph started reading. Let me grab that here. I know this makes for bad internet TV. The Runaways, modern classic Marvel series. I believe he did volume 2, and it was Joss Whedon who did the originals. Apparently they're all great. I haven't started reading this yet, but Steph loved this first book, and she's been tracking down the other ones ever since. So some other readings if you like Brian K. Vaughan's work. I'd say start with Saga and work your way from there. Saga's great, and it's current. It doesn't take that long to catch up on, and you can keep up with the monthlies if you want to do that, or just wait for the books because they're cheap and they're great as well. So until next time, yeah, give me the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Jet in Third Person. Feel free to leave me a comment as well if you like Brian K. Vaughan and Saga and all other related stuff. Let me know. If you don't, also let me know, and we can have a great discussion around that. And check out the website, inthirdperson.com, for more on video games, board games, comic books, and just other stuff. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back for the next one. See you later.